Say hello. Good evening and welcome. We have Family Faith is tonight and Adult Enrichment, so thank you if you're here participating and listening. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll try to make it a little more interesting. I'm sorry. I know. It's already going.
How do you really feel about Marquette?
Yeah. So this month we are talking about. I made this title of this presentation. Conversation. This is going to be more of a conversation. Not knowing, I've never worked in corporate. I was a teacher, and then I came to to work for the church. And so I titled this Middle managers?
Middle managers. Could it be more boring?
So, and I did it without Michelle. And Michelle was like, why would you call it?
Why would you call it middle? Is this a joke? Am I being punked? So who wants to talk about stewardship, fundraising, and middle management? And everybody raise your hand. Exactly.
So Michelle Nemer is back this month. We had her come and talk with us back in November, and we are following the, if you remember, we're following the mission and vision statement this year. So our topics include, I don't have my bulletin with me. The mission and vision was, we did, Pam Launig was in September. She talked about
social justice.
Social justice, thank you. And then last month we had prayer. So if you look at our mission and vision statement, we are on the vision statement, and we are on stewardship. And so I didn't want to call it stewardship, because stewardship, it gets a bad rap.
Why? Because
people think stewardship is about giving money.
What's wrong with money?
Nothing. But
especially if you're in middle management.
But stewardship is much more than that. And so this presentation and this discussion that you're going to have amongst yourself is really more about kind of a framework of stewardship. Mm-hmm. So here we have it. Thanks, Kathy. Our vision statement is to be a growing community that inspires all to follow Jesus with a spirit of inclusion. That's what Pam's was. Compassion, that was you.
Yeah, and through times of transitions.
Yes. And service, which was our November, December. And then we encourage all to deepen their relationship with Jesus through Scripture. And that was Dan Schultz came and talked in January. And then prayer, which was last month, which was the Seton staff. And this is stewardship. And then ministry to others we'll wrap it up next month. So that's how we're gonna play this.
And everybody has the handout. Okay, so we're gonna start off, and a little bit about me, and Sue had invited me to come, and you wanna do the first two slides about the pictures? Yeah. She did this great collage. We're also being recorded right now, so everybody say hi to Bill. Hi, Bill. Thanks, Bill. Hi, Bill, and thanks, Bill. Just a little bit about me. I've been working with parishes in southeastern Wisconsin and throughout the Midwest, actually, and nationally. I work a lot with pastors and parish councils. I had the joy and benefits of being with your parish council and your finance council last month. And if anybody was at Mass yesterday, I'm sure everybody was at Mass. Let me rephrase that. At the 8:30 Mass, Father Joe introduced me and shared that we were going to be doing some things with staff around realignment and making sure everybody is, doing what they love, like what they're passionate about, and leveraging their gifts. And this prayer that we're going to start off with at the front of your handout is called a radical prayer. And there's an 8-minute meditation that we're going to all listen to. It's readily available. Sue will also put it on your website, I think. And I'll tell you, yesterday we had 41 people after Mass come down, and everybody just loved this meditation. So I encourage you to, if you don't have a pencil or pen, get one out to not only maybe underline something in the prayer that speaks to you, or even you can write some notes in that regard, and then we'll have some time to talk about it as well. But the whole point being, and I think, not that this is a bait and switch on Sue's part by any means about being middle management, but this whole idea of stewardship and our gifts from God, like how do we turn that, we're really turning it upside down, thinking it in a very radical way.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so before we start we're going to start the meditation first?
Yeah, no,
okay.
Your pictures.
Yeah.
So this is what you think about when you think about Satan and how you become
We don't
involved
think about
in
anything.
There you go.
There you go. So the pictures that I presented, I pulled some pictures that kind of reflect our faith community and what we are to one another. And so we are a community that prays, certainly together. We are a community that shares joy together and laughter. And we're also a community that serves others. Eventually. There we go. And so all of these pictures represent us as a family of faith. Yesterday afternoon, our CIA candidates went down to the cathedral, and they were celebrating the rite of initiation, and so the rite of election, actually. And the idea that we were there with them as a family of faith, and we are together. And so together for one another, in this space, we are gift. We are considered gift. And so that's the direction of stewardship. It's not that about money or about fundraising or things like that. That certainly is a very tiny, teeny, tiny part of it. But more so, it's how do we receive the gifts that God gives us? How do we tend to those gifts? How do we share those gifts with one another? And then how do we give that back to God? That's stewardship. And so we're going to start with this kind of radical prayer of stewardship, really.
Church is very radical.
Oh yeah, we're way out there, man.
We're way out
Michelle's a convert, so she's poking fun
I'm
at
even more radical.
So we're going to listen to this radical prayer, and as you listen, if you have a pencil or if you have something to write with, or even as you listen, think about what stands out to you, what words stand out to you, if you've ever thought about stewardship in this way. And then, because we're going to be talking with one another after we listen to it. And it's about, what did you say, Michelle, this is like an 8-minute kind of reflection on this prayer by St. Ignatius of Loyola, who just celebrated yesterday or Saturday? Saturday, his 400th year of canonization. Zippity-doo-dah. Let's hear it for the Jesuits. All right, so St. Ignatius. So here is his prayer of radical giving.
St. Ignatius's Switalski prayer is all about our surrender to the loving care of God. A God who lifts up, encourages, and cherishes us. Let us begin our time of meditation with this prayer. Take, Lord, and receive all my liberty, my memory, my understanding, and my entire will, all I have and call my own. You have given all to me. To you, Lord, I return it. Everything is yours. Do with it what you will. Give me only your love and your grace. That is enough for me. This prayer is all about receiving God's gifts, but being willing to return them to God, only desiring God's love and grace as sufficient. While we usually think of God's gifts as circumstances or physical things in our lives, we don't think about these less tangible concepts Ignatius calls out in his prayer: liberty, memory, understanding, and will. But these too are gifts. By holding them lightly and by our willingness to let them go, we acknowledge them as gifts. Let us reflect on these 4 gifts in our lives. Take, Lord, and receive my liberty. The gift of liberty is all about being freed from the traps of the ego, the things that hold us back from fully being in union with God. I choose to live for God rather than self. I choose to be freed from the assumption I can do what I want and have control over everything. How is God seeking to liberate me? What do I need freedom from? Take, Lord, and receive my memory. St. Ignatius believed that God could use the gift of memory to speak to us. Our minds and hearts often return to memories of God's faithfulness, like Mary sings in her Magnificat. Sometimes our memories are painful. Other times, our memory reveals how we have been near or far from God. Are there any past events in my life I find myself clinging to that I need to let go of? And what are the memories I have of God's goodness? Take, Lord, and receive my understanding. The gift of understanding is one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit. God gave it to us to help us come to know the right way to live amidst different messages and voices around us. It guides us to where we need to be. But it doesn't mean we understand all things. There can be a danger in trying to cling to certainty, needing an explanation for things that sometimes cannot be explained. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, says the Lord. How do I respond to confusion in my life? Do I have the need to have an explanation for everything? Take, Lord, and receive my will. Free will is inherent to the dignity of my personhood. It is a gift from God. Each day I make choices that affect me and others in this world. God deeply respects my freedom, even if I sometimes misuse this gift. Do I recognize the power of my will and ability to choose? Are there areas in my life I don't have the ability to choose? How do I feel about that? We will conclude again with Ignatius's prayer, but this time we hold each gift more lightly, remembering that all we truly need is God's love and grace. All else is gift. Take, Lord, and receive all my liberty, my memory, my understanding, and my entire will. All I have and call my own, you have given to me. To you, Lord, I return it. Everything is yours. Do with it what you will. Give me only your love and your grace. That is enough for me.
What did you think? Thumbs up? Any thoughts? Anything that resonated with you? Hearing that? Anybody hear that before? The Stewardship prayer? Am I on? You are. Okay. We're going to do like Phil Donahue. I'm dating myself. I got some laughs. Yeah. I'm going to ask you turn to the person closest to you, and if you came together, it's okay if you turn to someone up or together or someone else to the left or right, and just have a little discussion, share with each other one or two things that resonated with you from this prayer, and give you each a couple of minutes to share with the other person. Yeah. Good. Anybody want to share what maybe some of the conversations were or talking points were? Not anything specific maybe you said, but some of the themes that bubbled up in regards to what resonated or struck you about this prayer and this radical thought around stewardship? We'll pass you the microphone. You don't have to speak in the microphone if you don't want to, but... Did you want to? Oh, I thought you looked like you were ready to share. You had a sharing smile. Yeah, if you wanted to share something about your conversation that you had or what resonated. Yeah. Anybody? Yes.
Two things. The very first thing I thought of was just a visual when I read this, and I didn't come on time, I came a little late, but just the visual that I got was the wave coming into the shore, into us,
Yeah.
and then it goes out of us back to God. But I also thought it doesn't necessarily go right back to God. It could go through us, through other people, giving it to other people to show Christ and to go back to God that way.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Did everybody hear that? The imagery of the ocean and the waves coming in. So it's coming into us and then going back out maybe to God. But even to your point, you added to somebody else or something else, that if everything is in the likeness of God and God is on all things. Beautiful. Thank you. I saw a hand over here. Thank
And we were just talking over here about how I read the part about the understanding how my thoughts are not your thoughts, especially like in relationships, like how my right way isn't necessarily your right way. And then we kind of got off topic, but like the prayer at nighttime, when we were saying, now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. And when I was little, it was, if I die before you wake, pray the Lord my soul to take. But when I was praying it to my children, I was like, ooh, I don't know about this. So then I say, guide me safely through the night. You know, like things that, but is it right? And it's probably not any on top, but what is right and what is wrong? And like, even my prayers through God, he might direct me in one way, but they might direct my husband in a different way. So what's really right and wrong?
That's awesome. There is no right or wrong answer. Thank you so much, both of you, for having the courage to be vulnerable and talk. I know that's awkward and uncomfortable. And I think that's what these kinds of prayers do, is they get us thinking in different ways. And to your point about that prayer, I thought the same thing. I adapted it with my kids. And then to be even take it to another level. Anybody familiar with the song Kumbaya? I told when my kids, by the way, they're all in their 20s, so they survived in spite of this, but I used to sing the Kumbaya, but I would change the lyrics. That's right, on cue. I would change the lyrics, and I would incorporate a prayer into the lyrics, and then like for the next day for them too. So my evolution of came through this. So it's not crazy, right? It's whatever works for your family. Yeah. But what you're being called to do, and you're in this prayer too, is that what are you asking for, and what everything that he's given, the Holy Spirit's given to us, is gift. And do we think about it in that way? Even our free will is a gift, like the fact that we have the gift of free will. Excellent, great.
I think her story also completely embodies this prayer, which was a surrender of what you understand. And that is exactly what this prayer is all about. Surrendering what our preconceived notions are, surrendering everything to God. And so your understanding, that's the one that gets me, because I'm a person that has a need to understand and a need to learn and a need to study and a need, and that yesterday morning, we presented this yesterday morning too. That same phrase just went, oof, because that's my like, I hang on to that, I cling to that, I know what's right. No, you really don't, and so I loved that comment, because that is exactly what this whole prayer is all about, surrender.
Right, excellent. Anybody else, anything that comes to mind? Any insights from your conversations with each other that you'd like to share for the greater good of this community? Anybody feel like they can go out and do this? Well, that's great, Michelle and Susan. Sue, just go out, good luck. No, I don't. And that's why on the back side, we actually provided for you 6 indicators of characteristics of what everyday stewardship can look like. So there's 6 of them. You want to hit the clicker? Yeah. There's 6 of them. The first one being prayerful. And we just had that talk. What resonated with you in connecting this to the Lenten season as you listen to this radical prayer of surrender from the meditation? What is really striking you It could be something you're witnessing or an opportunity. It could be something you're struggling with in that regard. Number 2 is mindful. And this comes from the book, which is available in your library and also online. I know Sue has multiple copies, is Everyday Stewardship by Tracy Welliver. And what's great about this is if you're in a Bible study or a small group, it breaks these all down individually. But mindful, what is one thing in your life that God is calling you to let go of and just have faith? So again, you can turn to your partner, your person sitting next to you, the person sitting closest to you, and take a couple of minutes to share with what's one thing in your life that God is calling you to let go of or to just have faith. Great. Okay, so the next characteristic of an everyday steward. So think about that, everyday stewardship. It's every day in all things, from your memory and your will to our time, to our gifts of the Holy Spirit, to the material items as well. The next one on the list is gracious. And the gracious, the reading from it that's in here in the book is from Mark, but the good stewardship is about giving all that we have so that others may not want for anything. This is truly being gracious and offering hospitality to all that we encounter. Does that mean even the people like in the long gas lines that cut in front of me? Am I supposed to be gracious at all times? But, I think it goes straight to what Father Joe preached about yesterday about the hardened-heartedness, the hardened heart. Like, how do we enter into those gracious, with a gracious perspective, even when it's a difficult conversation or somebody with opposing views or opposing ideas, or even going back to your point, I can't see your name, but I'm going to run up and get... Yeah, that's good, Jesse, is when you have a conflicting... points of view. Anybody ever heard the 10% rule about conflict or difference of opinion? That you always make the assumption, being gracious, make the assumption that you're 10% right. Even though we have opposing opinions, what I really like about your idea or your thought or that situation, you're assuming, and that's what Father Joe was talking about yesterday in his homily about listening and trying to meeting people where they are, even in a conflicting situation with family and friends. I don't know about your family and friends, every once in a while mine, but to be that, make the assumption, be gracious that 10% of what you're saying that I can agree on, the one thing that I can agree on, and start with that attitude of being gracious, about being gracious. What area in your life do you let pride get the best of you? And how can you learn to be satisfied with not being first or the best? Ouch, right? Especially in the competitive sports and competitive society. So we'll give you a couple of minutes to talk and reflect on that one. Awesome. Well, I just had someone share with me. I won't cite any sources, and I'll walk around so nobody knows where I came from. But but the thought was, I've never thought about being gracious or thinking of it as from a stewardship perspective, right? So when you talk about this being a radical prayer, and to think that St. Ignatius wrote this over 400 years ago, well, we have to, if 400 years ago he was canonized, let's do the everyday math. Maybe 450 years ago yeah. We can agree on that, Sue? Okay. Well, I'm graciously good. You think I'm 10% accurate? I appreciate it. I think you're 90% accurate. See how we're modeling that? That's great. I'm glad we're on camera. Bill, cut this part out. Right, but you didn't think about what that was. Is anybody looked ahead to see what number of 6 characteristics of everyday stewardship has to do with money? Is money even listed on there? No. Right. It's not even listed on there.
Money isn't, sorry. Money money is the tool, and so when you're talking about gifts, it's not specific, it's all encompassing. So not only does it include the material things, but it includes compassion, it includes understanding, it includes cherishing relationship, all of those things that from a stewardship point of view, those are all, everything, that's the point of the prayer, is that everything is gift. All of the interactions, even the time that you're having today, talking to someone, that is all God giving you that moment, that gift. And so to be able to be present and to be able to recognize that, that's the framework of stewardship.
Is that all you have to say about that? Are we supposed to have this memorized by Easter? No, okay, good. All right, good. Because this group's going to need a little extra help. Yeah, it's easy. Okay, grateful. What talents or gifts do I have that I can give back to God with a grateful heart? Now, I'm going to put some scope around that. Anybody ever sign up or volunteer for something and then complain about it nonstop? Just by a show of hands. I'll raise my hand, right? Right? Complain about it nonstop. I cannot believe I'm baking. I cannot believe I'm at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton again. Oh, wait, did I say that out loud? I'm teasing. I'm so happy to be here and talking about that, right? Number one, that is the number one indicator that you have overcommitted and that you're not doing this from a gracious, grateful heart. Now, I know you're laughing. It's a tough conversation I had with myself. If it happens to be in February and you're outside, right? I mean, I'm just saying as an indicator, like, is it happened once? Is it, related to a terrible time in your life or other things going on? But if this is consistently something that you're beginning to be resentful about or not see this as an opportunity to be grateful. And I don't mean it in a Pollyanna kind of way, but truly, that is an indicator that God is calling you to do something else. And it may be something that you need to pause and have the courage, the vulnerability to say no to this activity or whatever this is that you're feeling frustrated about and not feeling grateful related to, and then pause and then consider and take that to prayer of what is calling you to do something, because then you're doing it with a grateful heart. You see, we can't give away something we don't have. So if we're not cultivating prayerfully, mindfully to be gracious and grateful, guess what? That's going to permeate everything we do or don't do. And I say this because it's something, it's a daily challenge and opportunity, right? Anybody shop Goodwill, St. Vincent de Paul, right? And you come across like Lululemons and you're like, score, right? Or something. I came across a Neiman Marcus. Anybody know the name Neiman Marcus? The bougie, right? Totally bougie, New York, right? A Neiman Marcus cashmere, that's double bougie, Neiman Marcus cashmere sweater. And I've been wearing it for years, so much that I got holes in the elbows. And I'm like, I could darn that. Like, I didn't sew, like in Girl Scouts or something. I could fix that. Well, that looked terrible, right? You can't use regular thread. It's cashmere, for Pete's sake, from Neiman Marcus. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to take it to a dry cleaner's, right? It's cashmere, get it dry cleaned. They have to have a way to mend the elbows. So I took it to the I won't tell you where I took it, but I took it to the dry cleaners, and I asked them, I said, what could you do with this for the elbows? And they said, well, I don't know, but we'll send it to the tailor. It's going to be expensive. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I got this at Goodwill, and it's cashmere from Neiman Marcus. So name a number, right? I mean, I'm only $3.99 in at this point, right? So they call me. They tell me it's going to be $25, and they're going to put patches on it. And I thought, oh, that's going to be so cool. What a great idea. Patches, like a professor. And I'm going to get a pipe and be in my cashmere and be like all bougie, right? So I go to pick it up. I just want to tell you, my son's in the military, and he's in Germany, so this all happened before November, because I was going there for the holidays, to spend the holidays with him, because he couldn't come home. And yes, please keep him in your prayers because he's with NATO. But anyway, so I wanted to bring this cashmere sweater with me to wear in Europe. I pick it up from the dry cleaners. I go to just try it on to see how it was. Do you know one patch was on the back side of the elbow? You know what I'm going to say. Where was the other patch? On the front side. I had a patch on the front and a patch on the back, and this side still had the big hole in it. Do you know I could have done I could have been really upset that my very expensive Neiman Marcus cashmere sweater was now ruined, or I could laugh because that was a complete error, a human error, right? I did not get offended. Nobody did that purposely to hurt me. It was a time crunch. This was like a Tuesday. I was leaving on Friday. I just got in the car and I went back and I said to them, look what happened. Could you please fix this? And could I pick it up by Thursday? And they were so apologetic and embarrassed. And I said, no worries. It's totally okay. I just want my, sweater. And of course, now there's like a little hole on this side because of the patch, but that's okay, right? Gracious and grateful. I was so grateful that I had a solution to my sweater. And I tell you, I've told this story a half a dozen times. How many times people react like how frustrated and mad, and they would have gone and they would have yelled at them, or right, that they felt offended or that they had gotten slighted. And I thought when I was putting this together in anticipation, that was a conscious point in my being a good steward, that people make errors, right? And are they repeatable? And in a work situation, that's a whole different things. But how can you not let your pride get in the way? And if you're not satisfied in some way in helping that other people, I had that opportunity to model that. And she didn't know, this individual, she didn't do the work either, right? So how many times do we get yelled at, or do we turn around and yell at somebody even when they're not the person, right? And I always use that expression, we can't give away something we don't have. But think about it, and I love the imagery you had of the beach. If somebody knocks into you and you have a cup full of hot coffee, what's going to spill out of that cup? Joe? Yeah, you see what I did there? I know, thanks. Yeah, your coffee's going to fill out. So if somebody knocks into you, what's going to come out of your cup? What's going to come out of your mouth, your mind, your heart? Is it gratitude? Is it gratefulness? Is it being mindful? These are the things that we're cultivating as everyday stewards. And I'm not saying that this is easy in the least bit, right? And as Catholics, that's why we have confession, thank God. That's why we have the sacraments. That's why we have our prayer groups. And that's why, right, adult formation.
I want to say, so Michelle, you're always happy and joyful and loving and kind and
24/7,
yeah,
Sue.
Yeah.
24/7, 7 days a week. No. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, correct. Now, had I got that sweater on Thursday, put it in my suitcase, put it on in Germany, I'm sure I would have had a whole different response, right? Right? Thanks be to God, I got it sooner than later. Yeah.
And I just want to say, the reason why that is because we not only have to be charitable with people around us, but we have to be charitable with ourselves.
Right.
And incredibly charitable with ourselves. And that's hard to do.
That's really hard to do. And I think you just gave an example, too. We can't give away something we don't have. So if we're not being charitable with ourselves, right, how do we expect ourselves to be charitable with other people? Yeah. Be kind to yourself first. It goes to that proverbial oxygen mask, doesn't it? I know I asked this question the last time I was here in November, but I don't know if this was all the same cast of characters. But anybody here flying an airplane? Anybody, just by a show of hands? Yeah. When that oxygen mask drops down, who do they tell you to put it on first? That's so selfish. Why would you do that? You can't help someone if you're dead. That's absolutely right. Yeah. And they have to tell us that every single time we fly because it's counterintuitive. It's absolutely counterintuitive. Stu, do we have time for one more? Okay, the next one is committed. What things keep you from becoming a more committed follower of Jesus? So turn to your partner, the person you've been sharing with, and take a few minutes to talk about this. What are things that are keeping you from becoming a more committed follower of Jesus? What a great thing to ponder during the Lenten season.
So Michelle's handing out gold thread to everyone right now, and we're going to finish up with that. But as she is, I shared with her that when she was talking about her bougie sweater from Neiman Marcus, her cashmere, sorry, she corrected me, her cashmere sweater, I thought she was going to say, you know, in this sweater that cost me $3.99, I kept pouring money into, and it, you know, and eventually you realize that you can let it go. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to continually try to. But I thought of someone who, and there are so many of us, and I do this to myself, you know, we try really hard. In our mind, we think we know, like, what a good steward is, or what we are, you know, if you're good at something. I had a friend that came up to me and said she was a beautiful quilter, and she quilted, and she made lap quilts, prayer quilts for people. And she would bring them to people who were in treatment for cancer and hospice. She would drop them off. And they were gorgeous, and she had all this fabric at her house. And she came up to me so distraught because she said, you know, Sue, I know that I should be serving somewhere. I should be serving at a soup kitchen. I should be going somewhere and helping people. I should, and I'm so selfish. And I was like, what? You make these beautiful quilts, you take them to all of these people, and you share that gift that you have. A lot of times I think we discount our gifts. I don't know if it's because we want to be humble about them, we're uncomfortable. I don't know about you, but I'm uncomfortable when people say, oh, you know, you do that really well. I have to get over that. That's something that in the sushi pay prayer that I have to let go of. That's my control. And so if you are good at, you know, organizing things and listing things and putting things in Excel spreadsheet, oh my gosh, that would be my personal, that would not be a good place for me to be. That is gift. That is how God, so the things that you're good at, the things that you get complimented on, don't discount those. Don't pish-posh them as if it's, you know, it's nothing. Because that is how God is calling you. And so to recognize that, even if it's something as, you know, you tell yourself, oh, that's nothing, you know. I'm very guilty of that. Oh, so, you know, this was so good. Oh, it was nothing. No, it was everything. God poured that into me, and I need to be gracious and say thank you. And, you know, but I think we all want to be humble, right? We all want to be like, oh, no, I don't do that, you know, just, and I'm uncomfortable too with that. But what I'm saying is to recognize the things that you're good at and to really lean into them, because God created you right now, in this moment, at this time, on this earth, with the very gifts that you have, whatever combination that is for you. That's it, man. You're the only one that can do it the way that you're going to do it, and God calls you to it.
Wow. That was a mic drop, Sue.
See, there. Did you see that?
That she just did it. Sue, let's practice that again. Wow, Sue, you're on fire. That was a mic drop. Yeah. You're really alive with the Lord. Do you shine like that all the time? Yes. But you're still sitting in the front. Hey, I know your kids are going to be ready here in a minute, so I just want to go over real quick. Committed, accountable. What obstacles in your life prevent your light from shining more brightly? Now, the next time you get together will be April 4th. 4th is a Monday. So the great thing about this is you have this to take with you to reflect on. You could reflect on one each week. And then also think about incorporating the last question, which is what things can make your experience with Father Joe's Lenten series, Moving Stones and Preparing for Holy Ground, more meaningful and fruitful. Maybe there's one thing from the radical prayer, maybe there's one thing from a characteristic that you can think about applying. We're only 2 weeks in, we got 4 weeks to go, right? That's the math, 6 weeks, yep, for Lent. So think about incorporating something there. Also, I wanted to say I gave everybody this gold thread, if you will, this gold. Anybody recognize what's the material? The color is gold, but what's the, what's that called? Elastic. Thank you. So, gold. Gold is, how is gold related to our economy? Is it important to our economy? Pardon me? It backs our dollar. It's the foundation of our economy. It's the most important part of the economy, right? It backs our dollar. You are the gold of Seton. You are God's gold. You are the gold of the kingdom. Everybody individually. So remember that. Everything that you receive is a gift. It's the most important thing. And you are the gold here at Seton. And the elasticity, thank you. I need a drink of water. We shouldn't have had those beers. I told you we shouldn't have drank, Sue. The elasticity. What do we know about elasticity is that when you stretch and stretch and stretch, eventually it'll stay in place. Kind of like those Thanksgiving Day pants that we like to wear, right? But what you're being asked to do when you take a look at this is to stretch. And one thing we know about stretching is it's kind of uncomfortable to learn new habits and incorporate those into your life. Know that God, the Holy Spirit, is holding one side. Father Joe, your community here, the parish staff here at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton is holding one side, and you're holding the other. What happens if you let go? It's going to hurt, right? And we know you're not going to let go. So what we encourage you to do this Lenten season is to continue to add one of these characteristics. Maybe take 1 week to focus on and stretch and stretch. And keep coming back. Don't let go. Don't give up. Keep coming back to adult formation, to your prayer circles, to your small groups, to help your mass. Everything that helps you to incorporate these strategies, these characteristics into your life. You have the link to, Sue will have it on the website and send it out. So if you want to play that reflection, it's a website called God in All Things, and you can take a look at it and listen to it, even playing it in the morning for an 8-minute reflection. The other thing that's a characteristic of this is frazzled ends. Anybody ever feel frazzled being a loving disciple of Jesus Christ? I'm feeling frazzled. Right before this started, let's be honest, Sue. Pizza and being frazzled, are those things connected? So we didn't drink. I'm being facetious. We thought about drinking though, yeah. But you're frazzled at one end. That's totally normal, absolutely normal. So it's okay if you just relax the stretch a little bit while you recalibrate and then continuing on. And before you know it, over a long period of time, these habits will become, these characteristics will be part of your daily habits and opportunities. So thank you so much for coming up here today. I know you had tonight. I know you had other choices. So we appreciate you being here with us. And you will see them April 4th. And the topic is, you want to give them a preview?
Now that I'm better, yeah. Ooh, right before, it was one of those days, man. So the last thing on our mission statement is ministry to others. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have some of the ministry leaders kind of on a panel talking a little bit, not so much about their ministry, but about the transformation that either they see in their ministry or they've experienced in their ministry, or ways they've grown closer to Christ through serving in their ministry. And it's just to allow, I'm a firm believer that it's, asking somebody to talk about their faith it's, you get kind of uncomfortable about, yeah, I'd like to talk to you about Jesus. Yeah, I'd like for you not to, But I just feel really strongly that we don't give space for witness of our faith. And this allows someone to talk about how through service, how through serving others, they're growing closer to Christ. And it's people that maybe you'll recognize, and you'll be able to ask them questions, and we'll really talk about what that means. So hopefully, and then maybe you'll get to even meet people that you maybe don't recognize from our faith community, and just hopefully be inspired by them, or you can inspire them. I don't know, either way. But so thank you. The other thing I want to say before the kids get in here is we always, every year in July-ish, the formation team kind of gets together, and we bless you, and we try to think of topics or a theme or things to help walk with you in your faith journey. And so if you ever have something that you say, gosh, Sue, I would love for us to explore parts of the Mass. I know that's top on your list, right? No. Or whatever it is, I don't even know, where your curiosity goes. But our job as a formation team is not to impose on you what we think you should be experiencing, but it's really to walk with you. So any topic, there is no topic that is I'll do my best to find a presenter that can present it in a way that is understandable and accessible for me, for us. But please, I want to really encourage you to don't ever be reserved about talking about how we can provide opportunities in which you can grow in your faith. Because the last thing I want this to be, and the last thing the whole formation team wants us to be, is a waste of time for adults. We really want to walk with you. And so, let me know, let Barb know, let Ann know, let Father Joe know. No, don't let Father Joe know, just tell me. No. So thanks. Is there anything even as I say that, does anything come to mind for you that you're like, oh, nothing? You guys probably can teach me. I probably should be sitting there. You should be up here. Yeah. Yeah, is there one, that's a great, is there one thing that you've always wanted to know about the Catholic faith or anything? But was afraid to ask, yeah, as if they're going to ask in public, yeah, I want to know. Well, think about it, pray about it. If something comes to you, I am a phone call, an email, or I'm usually standing in the gathering space before Mass, and I just want to let you know that I'm here to serve you and to figure out how we can grow together in our faith. That's really, really imperative that's the whole role. That's the reason why we have people here, so. The end. Amen. No, I know. Yeah, thanks.